Hello and welcome to episode 214 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now today's episode is the first in a 4-part series of episodes dedicated to the incredible 2000trees festival. I was lucky enough to attend this year's festival after the festival has been put on hold for 2 years due to COVID, and I can safely say it's the best festival that I've ever been to. From the moment I got there, I felt part of a family. I felt like I was never being judged, and just the atmosphere, and hey, we've had the best sunshine I think I've ever seen at a festival for the last 3 days. But everyone was so grateful, and it felt like a huge celebration of having that incredible experience of live music again, especially in a field, especially with drinks, and especially with friends. And honestly, I can't be prouder of these interviews. And on today's episode, I'm joined by the amazing Can't Swim, Phoxjaw, and to top it all off, Stick to Your Guns. 3 absolutely amazing bands, and between all the specials that I'm going to be bringing out, there's something for everyone. There's lots of different genres, loads of different bands, and loads of different conversations, and I'm so happy with how these have all come out. So I think the best thing to do now, and this is a returning guest for Mark and Me, is to bring you the interview with me and Can't Swim. I'm joined by Chris Laporto and Danny Rico, and just to sit down and do face-to-face interviews again, especially since lockdown and relying so heavily on Zoom. Honestly, the difference that you hear is just remarkable. So here's me and Chris and Danny talking all things Can't Swim.
Won't be ignored, can't take it anymore. You're full of shit, and I'm the one who's calling it. Smarten up and take a hit. The world would be a better place. Wish you not in it.
Can't Swim, thank you for joining me in the flesh this time on the Mark and Me podcast.
No problem.
It's so good. Normally we are so used to doing it on Zoom. I think this is our 3rd time of meeting.
That's right.
But we're here in the flesh. It doesn't seem real. I think there's a bit of me that's like, is this really happening after COVID?
You thought I was just maybe putting a hologram on
I
the
did.
Zoom. Yeah.
I thought you were doing the whole ABBA thing, and I thought, my God, is this real? Is this real? But welcome back.
Thanks for having us.
How does it feel after 2 years of this festival being cancelled? This whole mentality that maybe Can't Swim won't do another show. That mentality is real. Does it feel unbelievable just to be let off again and being here?
I would say unbelievable. Very happy to be here. Had a blast the last time we played. I guess we didn't stink it up too bad that they invited us back.
That's always promising.
Right, and we're looking forward to playing. Did 5 shows leading up to this in your beautiful country, and it's been lovely.
I've been following you on Instagram this week, and I was like tired just watching the stories, never mind you doing these shows.
Yeah.
Are you guys exhausted? Because I've seen you play. It was at Manchester, I think. You're playing all these different places, and I'm like, it's a lot in a week.
It is.
There's no sleep on tour, just about ever, you know. I think that's something you accept straight away.
Here a week, I've slept maybe 3 or 4 hours. Yeah.
So how do you prepare yourself for a festival on no sleep?
Well, apparently this vocal zone thing you gave me is going to have me singing like Adele, baby.
That's Vocal Zone, available now.
Yeah.
Let's get an endorsement deal while we're sitting here.
Other than that, we practiced for, I think, a whole day. Just maybe 2 or 3 hours. And then we flew over. The airlines brought half of our equipment safely, and we're going to do a good job.
Being on a lineup like this, when you're looking at the tour poster and you're seeing all the lineup, and you've got bands like Thrice, who for me are one of the best bands of all time, Jimmy Eat World, some incredible bands. Is it incredible just to see it with yourselves on there amongst these? They're legends. They've been going 20, 25 years now. It's insane.
Yes. It's also insane to me that those bands have been going that long, because I've been listening to them for that long, which means me and Danny are old as well. But it gives me hope. Because if we continue this band for 25 years, I'll be somewhat in my 60s.
Wow.
2000trees is going to just say, Chris, you have to stay home. You're too old. But no, it's amazing. Yeah, I saw Thrice a couple months ago. Danny and I are big Jimmy Eat World fans. So, yeah, very honored to play amongst legends, like you said.
And do you get nervous for a show like this, or do you just think to yourself, I'm going to kind of cherish the moment and just absolutely give everything?
You know, I think it all happens so fast. You get here, you play the show, and you do the best you can to enjoy the moment. But at the end of the day, you sort of look back and you're like, what just happened? And I mean that in a good way, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Luckily, we grew up in an era that has cell phones and cameras, because sometimes, like you said, we haven't slept in a while. Today's a blur. But tomorrow, when I see it on my telephone, I'm going to be like, wow, that was amazing.
You're going to listen back to this interview and be like, I don't even remember
Talking to
recording
this
this.
guy. Who
What the
is this
fuck is
guy?
this?
Yeah. Was that Vocal Zone or was that something else?
You're going to have the best weekend of your life, and we're going to sell you the rest for £50. That's how it's going to go. And what have you guys got on for the rest of this year? I mean, are you trying to just to basically make up for lost time and get out there now and just play as many shows, because for 2 years you were held back?
That would be ideal. We've done a few tours since COVID has calmed down. We're in the process of recording an album. No plans for UK or Europe just yet, but hopefully we get to come back very soon.
And you just said new album. Talk to me about that. Are you in the process of just writing these new songs at the moment?
Pretty much writing it, but kind of the way we do it, we're so like self-contained. Danny records all the records, so the writing sometimes will just kind of be the end version anyway. So it could be done very soon, or if I stink it up, it could be done in 6 months. Who knows?
And with that DIY approach, talk to me. Tell me about it. So is it the fact that you don't have that studio and kind of label interference? Is it nice that you can do it how you want? Do you get to, make the album that you guys are so proud of without someone coming in and saying, you need to make this poppier, you need to make this chorus a bit more radio friendly? Do you do what you want to do?
Totally. Yeah, we were very lucky to start the band that way. Danny and I recorded our first EP by ourselves, and Pure Noise has always kind of pushed us to do that because they like what we kind of come up with. And I guess it's like a why fix it if it's not broken approach. So this record will be back to basics. Dan the man on the boards, the rest of the Can't Swim guys bothering him until we get it right.
Do you feel the pressure for that?
Pressure? I don't think so. I mean, kind of like what Chris was saying, it's the way we started and it's the way we feel the most comfortable. And going on what you're saying, it does feel reassuring to know that our label was happy with that in the beginning, and we're going to just explore that once again and keep doing that. That's what worked. That's what made us happy. That's what the Can't Swim people that listen to Can't Swim seem to enjoy. So let's just keep doing that.
Has there for you both been a kind of shift in your mindset that when you come to play a show now, you never take it for granted because of COVID, because of 2 years off? Do you now relish even more and think, I'm going to fucking put the best show on, because there might be a point where we don't ever get to play again?
Certainly. I think a lot of us are going through different life changes. We're getting older. The world is a crazy place. I think I personally have learned to savor it more than ever. Every time we come over here, I'm like, this could be the last time. So, I try to make the most of it. I feel like we've all been good at that, even in the beginning of the band, because we've been in bands that nobody cared about, or, we never even dreamed to go to a different country and play our music. So Can't Swim has always kind of felt like a little prize, but now more so than ever, like the things you mentioned. Who knows? Tonight could be the last night. Who the hell knows?
Imagine, I've just captured that.
Yeah.
This is the last interview of Can't Swim for the last
That
ever
does
show.
sound VH1 behind the music.
There we
had
go.
it here.
We just knew at the moment we were sat here that it was going to be special. But I don't want to be the reason that it all ends. But one thing I do on this podcast, and you all know this from coming on, is I ask the guest to choose the outro piece of music. It can be any band, any song, but there's two of you, so we might have to do like a rock, paper, scissors, toss a coin. What's your perfect outro song for today? It can't be Can't Swim, that's too much. You can't plug your own band. What's a band that mean a lot to you, or a song or a piece of music that you want to close today's interview on? Let's have two and then we'll fight for it.
I would say the artist is named Dean Summerwin.
Dean Summerin.
Dean.
Yep.
Dean.
Summerin.
Summerwind.
Wow.
And the song is called Parked Out by the Lake.
Right.
If you could play that at the end of this, I think it'd be a good summary.
Have you got one, or are you happy to go with
I
that?
have to be honest, that's precisely the song I was going to choose.
Oh, nice. This is good because I've not
That's how we
heard
get
it.
along.
I've not heard this, and what the best part is then I normally discover a new artist and I'm like, oh my god, I now need to listen and download everything they've ever done.
I think you're going to really like this one.
Yeah, I can't wait. Guys, it's been a long time coming, and we're sat here today. The sun is now shining on us, and it just feels like a real celebration. This feels like the perfect size festival. It feels like a family, and I just hope it goes so well for you guys tonight and just for the rest of the time. It's such a pleasure to have you back.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Vocal Zone.
Thank you so much.
Vocal Zone.
You know that I'm parked out by the lake. You remember that lake out by Santa Fe. And I'm gonna sit in park out by this lake. Out by this lake. By the lake at Santa Fe.
So, interview 1, there we go. What a great start. The amazing Can't Swim. Chris and Danny. So good to have them back on the podcast. And this time round, it was face to face. We're sat at the festival, the sun is shining, and honestly, everyone's spirits are so high. And you can hear it on the recording. So a massive welcome back to those guys. If at this point you've heard that little bit of snippet at the start and thought, these sound awesome, go and check them out. They're an amazing band, incredible live, and honestly, some of the nicest people I've ever interviewed. So again, thanks to Chris and Danny for coming on this special. Next up, we have Bristol-based Phoxjaw. This band, for me, are phenomenal. Phoxjaw are one of the best live bands out there. I was lucky enough to see them a few years ago supporting Black Peaks, and I've been a huge fan ever since. Their performance at 2000trees was just unbelievable, and they're going to go on to even bigger things. So I'm so glad that I'm joined by the amazing Danny Garland today. And this interview is just full of all random stuff, but I absolutely love it. So here's me and Danny talking all things Phoxjaw. Danny, thanks for joining me today on the Mark and Me podcast.
That's no problem at all. It's lovely to be here.
It's a nice day as well. The sun's just come out.
About time though, isn't it?
It is about time.
Well, I tell you what, is that a Jamie Lee Curtis t-shirt you're wearing?
It is.
That's very cool.
Are you a fan?
Brilliant.
Halloween, what an absolute classic
Amazing.
film. Unbelievable.
Like, absolutely amazing. The original Halloween is just like...
John
class.
Carpenter is the master of horror for a reason.
Do you know what? The Thing, though.
The Thing is my second favourite film of all time.
Literally, like, I watched that film about, like, 20, 30 times.
Yep.
It's one of those films like that, and 28 Days Later is another one. I just stick them on and just indulge in it. It's just such good filmmaking, you know.
I think Kurt Russell's performance as MacReady, every single time I see something else he does, and it might just be the way he's sipping some whiskey, the way he's playing Chess Wizard. He is an unbelievable actor.
You know, Windows found some shredded lawn jars and a name tag on them was missing.
Right, should we just talk about The Thing for an hour? Fuck all this music, you know what I mean? But what an absolute masterpiece. It is absolutely incredible.
He's like a real role model to me.
He is.
I look at Kurt Russell and think, if I can be like that,
then you've done well. But you are here right now with Phoxjaw. I remember the first time I saw you guys was at Milton Keynes. What's the venue there? I think, were you supporting Black Peaks? Would that be a gig?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're banned from that venue.
It's a pub. I can't remember the name of it.
What is it? Honestly, I can't remember what I had for tea, so I'm not probably the worst person to ask.
But it's a pub and out the
it's
back.
It's a wicked venue. It's a wicked
really
venue. Massive hole. Yeah, we stayed overnight, and we ended up going to a house party after the gig, and then we got home, and then me and Alex ended up smoking like in a room, and we got told off, and then we got banned. So.
Oh no.
I was a bit naughty, really.
You were very good that night. I'm not just saying.
We're really good, people.
You and Black
that was
Peaks,
just a bad night.
Brilliant together.
Oh, that was Do you know what? I missed that band. It's a real shame that it happened. Do you know what I mean? But
and it always felt like the luck was against them. Like they got this big tour, then Will got ill. Then they announced that they're going to support A Perfect Circle, and you're like, oh wow! And then it got cancelled, and then they go to Europe, and it's like they're just cursed.
Yeah, it's the thing is, it is hard being in a band. Like
even
at, they're a lot bigger than us, but even at their level, like it's not an easy road. Do you know what I mean? Life gets in the way. Do you know what I mean? It's not the days of the bloody 80s, the 70s, where you got like all this money behind you and you can.
People don't buy
People got
records.
full-time
you know what
jobs,
I mean?
you know what I
People
mean?
won't buy records anymore.
So I don't blame them. But it's a shame because they were a fantastic band. A
Unbelievable.
brilliant band. When we were like opening up from every night, we were just watching them side stage, just like, how are they this good at what they do? Like
It's
they're all
unbelievable.
just like so talented. Like Liam's an amazing drummer, Joe's guitar work, and Will as well. His vocals were just like.
His scream, but then the way he can hold a
And
real
then
high
he goes-
classical note.
Do you want to know how he does it?
Go on then.
He's a sax player.
There you go.
He's got massive lungs.
That's the secret. If you're listening right
Yeah.
now and you want to be a good vocalist, take up the sax.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's like if you're a saxophonist, you got to have big lungs on you, don't you? Do you know what I mean? Because you're pushing out all that air.
So talk to me about how you basically got to be the person you are today. Tell me about those first records you bought that you fell in love with that made you want to be in a band.
Well, I grew up when I was younger, sort of listening to like Johnny Cash and country music. 'Cause my dad's a bit of a like old school like country rock and roll kind of guy. So I grew up with like Eddie Cochran and all that kind of stuff. And then I got into Eminem, went through school, and I started listening to Eminem. And then I got given at the local skate park the first Slipknot album, and I took it home, and I remember putting it on and feeling this like energy inside of me. There was a lot of energy inside of me, anger and frustration, and it really helped me channel it in some way. And I remember a moment, and I got a terrible memory, but I remember thinking when I was listening to that album, going, I want to be in a band, and I don't care if I'm at the back. If I'm at the back, just like there, like fucking tapping something, I just want to be on the stage. I want to be a part of it. And then, so I started a band, and then and now it's great. But it was years, it took us years to get to where we are now. We were doing this since we were like kids. Do you know what I mean? We've been doing this for a long, long, long time.
How do you find the resilience to keep on going? Like the setbacks you get, people having COVID in the world, basically not allowing bands to do what they do for 2 years. How do you keep going thinking, fuck it, another obstacle, we're going to jump over it and hopefully the festival will happen next year? No, another year. You must be hard work.
It did nearly. I mean, I would never stop it. There was a part of me that was just like, why don't I want to do this anymore? Do you know what I mean? Like, I was working and I was like making some money and like I'd got into a rhythm and a routine of normal life, and you forgot what it means to do what we do. And then we started doing our first couple of shows again, and it's like, well, this is why I do it, you know. It's not a choice. It's who we are. It's our life, you know. I like to create albums. That's my favourite thing. I love playing live as well, but I love making records. If I had my way, I'd make like 2 albums a year and just fucking, show me that'd be my job. I love creating. It's like for me, it's like being a filmmaker or whatever. Like I want to make great rock albums or like landmarks in British music. So that's my task, you know.
So you've been going a long time, and you said you have no, thoughts of ending it. Do you think you could just be this band that keep going for another 20 years?
Yeah. Even if we were doing this, I think we'd still do it. We connect together as mates. Like fucking hell, the sun out of nowhere.
It's nice, isn't it? It's timing.
Like literally, like.
You've
what
got a
the
hat
fuck?
on. You're wearing all black.
I know. I took that off.
There you go. Is that better?
Get a bit of sun-dye on my hair, get it nice and blonde, like.
Get some sun in.
Yeah.
How was it today then?
Yeah, it was good. Like, it was amazing to be fair. It was the first time we've ever done a show at like that early in the morning on the main stage. Bit of a nightmare when my bass string broke in the first song, like my E string broke in the
That
first
never
song.
happens either.
I know, ever. I've
So you get
literally
your fucking-
never ever had that in my entire career playing music for a bass string, like the main your E string to break in the first song.
That's a hell of a thick string to break.
Yeah, I did slam it down in that first hit though. Well, I was passionate, I was feeling it.
Did you even have a backup? I mean,
Yeah, I had a backup, yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
even considered bringing one as a bassist.
You-
I'd be like, I'll be fine.
Yeah, but that's the problem. You get cool once, you won't do it again. I've had that happen before as well. You always got to have a backup, no matter what. But at the end of the day, it's a tool, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You hit a string, it might break.
It's true.
It was a shame, but because it ruined the first song. But then, like after that, it was like I come back with a vengeance. It was like they'd killed my family and burnt them in a house, and I was like a vigilante. I was like,
I will
I'm coming
find out
for
who
you.
did it, and I will
Yeah.
get each
I
and
would-
every one of you,
I was taking no one. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're all present. I was like, you're fucking.
and I'm going to make you
I'm
suffer.
making up for this now.
Yeah.
That last song, I'm gonna go 1,000 times harder in the next song.
So that might have
to
been
make
the
up for
secret
it.
that made your set so iconic.
Yeah.
Because he his family burnt alive on song 1. How do you bounce back from that? You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, this suddenly got really dark. The Wicker Man.
I
with
love that. That's
Phoxjaw.
another great film.
Oh my God, it's an
Oh,
amazing
mate.
film. The original, obviously, not
the-
Nick Cage
obviously.
going, not
But
the
also
bees.
the remake is very funny as well because like the bees.
Not the bees!
They're in my eyes.
So good.
I love Nick Cage. Like, I actually love him. It's so funny.
I want him on the podcast, but
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
can't.
what I'd do.
Whoa, hello.
Shall I
I'm
pretend
Nick
he's here? Nick Cage, tell me how you got into acting.
Well, I mean, of course, since Con Air.
Con Air, what an amazing film. Cyrus the Virus.
Yeah.
That is how you cast a villain. If you're listening, Hollywood, more people like that. We don't need Marvel films. We need Cyrus the Virus. Give him his own film. Look at you.
Sorry, it's just this horrible man. He's a nasty man.
Bloody hell. All going off here today.
Oh, good.
So did you feel any pressure knowing that you were the first band on? Was
No.
there like, oh my God, we need to set the tone for today and kick ass?
Not really. I think the thing is we've done this so many times now. It's just like, it's for me. It's more of a stress of is my gear gonna all be right.
Yeah.
I'm really like OCD about stuff. So I'm like I need to get on as quick as I can and make sure everything's working. So before we're playing, I'm always like, where's my leads? That's just how I am. And then I set it up and I'm like, right, we're going. Do you know what I
Legend.
mean? Do you know what I mean? And that's just I'm really like that. Do you know what I mean? I really stress about my stuff. But when I'm like the actual show and stage fright or anything like that, like not at all. Like that's not really a
So
thing.
the build-up is the terrifying part.
Yeah.
Once you,
It's more about
once
the
you're ready to
equipment.
go,
It's like
you're
if I had
fine.
like techs, I reckon I'll be like fine. If I had like people like right, we've
An
got all
actual
your
guitar
stuff.
tech.
Yeah, I'd be like right, okay, I'm alright.
It's
It's
in
just
safe hands.
I know I just get really stressed out about equipment. I've had shit break on me loads of times, and I know, and just I'm weird about it. Even though like most of the time it works, like 9 times out of 10, 9.8 out of 10 it works. I'm still like really funny about it.
Well, today proved that it's still 9.8. There's that 0.2 of a string breaking. What a fucking...
I know on the main stage on the first song, it's pretty funny, isn't it?
But you bounce back.
Yeah, when it made me, I was like I said, I was on fire. I was like, no, you're not taking this from me.
And are you looking forward to the rest of the weekend? Bands like Thrice, Jimmy Eat World, there's some amazing headliners and other bands playing.
And Leached as well from
So
up
much
north.
on.
And who else is there? You got Pigs as well. Have you seen Pigs perform?
Never. Is
Gonna
that
watch
Pigs, whatever it, yeah.
They're class. They're really cool band. Heavy as it gets. Like,
One to watch.
yeah.
What I do on this podcast, and it's the last question, it's nice and easy, is I ask the guy that's been on the podcast or the guest to choose the outro song. So once our interview is all edited and wrapped up, you get to choose the song by any band, by any piece of music that you adore. What's the outro song on the spot that you want to choose today that follows our interview?
Let's do Dark Alleys by Light Asylum.
Nice. Any reason?
They're a band from Brooklyn. I think they've got back together now as well because they went a bit quiet for a while. But that song is amazing. Like they got loads of great songs, but that song is like you put that on and you won't stop dancing. I'd say now. Light Asylum, Dark Alleys.
That's
Enjoy.
the one. Thank you for coming on, dude. It's a
No
pleasure.
worries.
To,
And you.
next time, come on and just talk John Carpenter films for an hour.
Yeah, we'll do like a special.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, dude. Thank you.
Take care.
So there it is, my interview with me and Danny from one of the best British bands right now, Phoxjaw. This band is a band that I urge you all to go and see live. If they're playing anywhere near you anytime soon, you would be absolutely crazy to miss it. They just put on a performance that even if you're not a fan of the music or the genre, you'll just be captivated. You'll be sucked in and just be absorbing their whole experience of them on stage. They're like nothing else, and I urge you, please, check them out. If you love them, let me know, because I love hearing people discover bands because of this podcast. Up next, and this is the third and final band on today's podcast, is the absolutely incredible American hardcore punk band, Stick to Your Guns. This was an interview that just went insane. There's a lot of film talk and so much more. And I think that Chris and George are some of the greatest people that I've ever interviewed. They're Californian legends, and I'm so glad that they sat down with me and we just had an absolute blast. So let's just get to that interview now. Here's me and Chris and George from the amazing Stick to Your Guns.
No going back for me.
I'm here with Stick to Your Guns. Guys, welcome to the Mark and Me podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
What I want to do today is let's break it right back to the early days. Tell me about that first album that each of you bought that made you fall in love with the bands that you listen to today. So start with me. Maybe you got your pocket money or that first CD that you were like, this is fucking awesome.
Well, hilariously, the first record that I purchased with my own money was the Titanic soundtrack.
This is terrible start. This is terrible.
so-
I like the honesty though.
That didn't do it, but
That makes sense because then you're like, I want a life that is going to sink,
Oh,
and
he's got it.
crash, and I'm going to be in a punk band.
I was 7 years old and I recognized James Cameron's vision, and I just thought that I needed to be a part of it. No, but seriously, my family was like a musical family, so I got handed a lot of records when I was a kid.
I love
so
it.
Dookie was the first record that I ever heard when I was 4,
Right.
and that was life-changing.
This is crazy. So I've had 3 bands on today, and all of us have said Green Day. Some people showed their age and were like American Idiot, but my first CD was Dookie. When I Come Around, Basket Case, I could not believe that 3 people made that much noise. It was incredible. Blew
Yeah.
my mind.
Fucking incredible. Josh?
Sick. Fuck. See, the thing is I'm so old that I don't really remember what it was. I remember as a kid, I had a Milli Vanilli tape, a Queen tape, and a Rush tape. That's it. But the first punk stuff that I got into was Misfits.
That's the
That
best
was-
foundations you can ever get.
That was the first thing. And that was because my mom took me to a second-hand store. I was in the 4th grade. Do you guys say 4th grade or grade 4?
4th grade's fine, yeah, go
Yeah. We have a Canadian in our band, and he always says grade 4.
Oh,
and we're
okay.
like, what's wrong with you?
4th grade, we know what you mean, but we would say probably like year 9 or whatever. It's
Okay,
it's
year
weird.
9.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So I was in the 4th grade, and my mom took me to a second-hand store, and I had $2. And she said I could buy whatever I wanted with that $2. And I found a shirt with a giant skull on it, which was the Crimson Ghost.
Oh,
And I just didn't know what it
nice.
was. It didn't say Misfits, but I bought it. And then an older kid in the neighborhood was like, "Oh, you like the Misfits?" I'm like, "I don't know what the fuck that is." Yeah, name 3 songs or beat your ass,
Yeah.
you poser. And but anyway, so then I ended up. He gave me a Misfits tape, and then I was like,
This is
"This is
cool.
sick! Teenagers from Mars. This is awesome."
And is that the point that you were like, I only want to be in a band for the rest of my life? I do not want to do anything else but play music.
I will say for me, when I first saw Green Day, it was on the Warning Tour, and I was 10. So,
Wow.
obviously not the most explosive Green Day record, but for me, 10, my fucking brains were on the back of the wall by the end of the show. And that, for sure, I always tell my parents, if you ever wanted to stop me from wanting to be in a band, don't take me to that show.
Yeah, I think I started playing guitar when I was around 12. And at that point, it was kind of like, well, what's the point of playing guitar if you're not going to play in a band? And by that time, I was completely submerged into punk music. So then I just started a band with my friends and still playing in a band with my friends.
And how does it feel when we're sitting here? There was a moment when I thought, a band's ever going to actually fucking play a show again because of COVID. 2 years of this festival being cancelled. Every gig ticket I had, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Incubus, everything was cancelled. But finally, we're sat here, the sun's out, and it's actually happening. We're here and bands are playing. Does it feel like you've now been let off this leash again to do what you love?
Ironically, our first shows back were so anticlimactic. It was unbelievable. Because we got into a room, we thought, oh, it's going to feel crazy. This is going to be amazing. Sat down, played the songs, totally normal, as if tour ended yesterday. All the gear worked. It had been sitting in a trailer since the beginning of 2020. Totally fine. Got in the van. Van worked. Trailer worked. Got to the show, played. Everything totally normal.
Yeah, it was even a thing where the show was sold out. A lot of us hadn't even seen each other because we live in different cities. And then, just like he said, it was the most anticlimactic moment of my life.
I'm building it all up. You haven't played for so long. You've got your instruments on. The crowd are buzzing. You walk on, and it's just normal.
It's just the exact same.
Man.
It was like we got off stage and we went, there was never a pandemic. we played
was all a
yesterday.
fake.
We're like, what the fuck?
Oh, but does it feel great to be here today? Looking at that poster, the lineup, some incredible bands, Thrice headlining, Jimmy Eat World. It must be incredible to be part of it and just to be back with a festival which feels like it's like a one big family.
Yeah, I think coming to Europe especially was a big thing because we, in the States, everybody was kind of talking where it's like, man, if Europe festivals don't come back, then we know the world's doomed. And so it was like really cool. Like even leading up to this tour, we were like, any minute it's all going to get canceled. Any minute it's all going to get canceled. We get on the flight, we land, we're like, any minute it's all going to get canceled.
Get
Start
on
playing
stage.
the shows. We're like, all right, next week it's going to get canceled. And so the fact that we've been now on tour for almost 8 weeks,
Wow.
is pretty wild for us.
Are you guys exhausted? Did you forget how much energy you need and how many early nights you should be having?
My brain is scrambled eggs right now. I'm
You're holding up
fucking
well.
toast.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah,
Well, we're on a high right now because we get dropped off at at Heathrow at 5 a.m. for our 1 p.m. flight tomorrow. So we're really excited to see what's happening with all the luggage and the long waiting lines and all of that. Yeah, a lot of Q shit going on.
Have
More
you
ways than
guys
one.
kind of look on life changed because you weren't able to do shows? Do you now go on stage and have like this different vision of like, fuck, we need to put on the best shows ever because it could be taken from us at any point?
Actually, for me, it's kind of like the opposite. It's kind of like where I used to be so concerned with, are we playing everything perfectly? Okay, like, is the crowd really into this as much as we're into this? And now I'm just like, hey, happy to be here. You know, like,
Let's just have fun.
Like if you're, whether you're jumping off the stage onto people's heads or if you're just sitting there bobbing your head, cool with me. If we're flubbing up parts but we're having a good time, cool with me. Like, I don't give a shit.
That's
just,
good.
Just happy to be here.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way. I feel like once per set, I'll have like a little like existential or philosophical moment by myself where I'm like, sick. This rocks.
Yeah.
It's like just a little personal moment, just like note to self, like I'm very happy that I'm doing this again, and then the set goes on.
And I think also at the same time, there was this thing that the pandemic created for a lot of people. And for me, this happened where it was, I was so connected to being a touring musician.
Yep.
And now I still am, but I also just had 2.5 years of not doing that, and I did other stuff. And so now it's like, oh, well, life can go on if something happens and I don't end up doing music, which is kind of a nice thing to do because a lot of times on tour and backstage, everyone's sitting around going, hey, what would you ever do if this all ended? You know, and everyone's like, I don't know. And now it's kind of like, oh, well, you can still survive. You can still figure out something to do. And there's plenty of other things. You know?
So come on then, what would you do? Would you
I have no fucking clue.
You got no fucking idea. Even with the time to think about it and that question.
Even the time off, it was like I didn't do anything worthwhile. Like I could. He was the smart one. He went to school and got a degree, where
Wow.
everyone else was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go back on tour." Yeah, I was like, I was digging holes in a desert, and so like he was. You got two good examples here. Someone that was
What you should do and what you don't
Yeah.
do.
I will say though, Josh is like a Bear Grylls type of guy. Like to me, you can just drop him in
Yeah.
the middle of the desert and he'll figure it out. And I feel like
Thanks, George.
I feel like you did during the pandemic.
and you're another type of person to me where you can somehow cram 8 years of college into a year and a half.
Did you ever sleep?
It was like a full-time job. I had a leg up because in America I had an associate's degree, which is like your 2-year degree. So I got that right when the record Diamond came out. Like I finished it up and I was like, oh, I'll never need this. The band's doing so well. Throw this fucking thing in the trash. Fuck school. 10 years later, I'm like, holy shit, thank God I had that. So when I started, I had like 2 years done and then I just went straight into my undergrad courses. So a little bit of a leg up, but
I can't not be distracted by the Big Lebowski t-shirt.
yes.
The Coen brothers are some of the best filmmakers of all time.
I
I love that you're wearing this t-shirt with
Absolutely
pride.
agree. Absolutely agree.
Yeah, but what about this shirt?
Is this Matrix?
Yes.
I love it. But
Rayon Matrix.
it's a nice little contrast. Independent filmmakers building themselves, and then the big franchise that
Well,
just
became a big franchise, but started as independent filmmakers.
yes, yeah, fair. But
the little engine that could.
I've not even seen the latest one.
Oh, it's fucking phenomenal. Don't talk to me about it, though. I'm not the person to talk to about
I've
it.
never heard anyone say it's
No,
phenomenal.
but like I want to start like a cult for Matrix Reloaded, the second sequel. So I'm
He's the wrong guy to talk to about the new one.
I'm cracked out of my fucking mind. I would literally commit. I would do things for the Wachowskis that are illegal. So yeah.
Incredible. That's passion.
I would blow up a bank for the Wachowskis. So
Are you as much of a film fan, or are you not?
Yeah, I love it.
What's your films? Talk to me.
are we doing top 5? What's your top 5?
Oh my god.
Yeah, what do you got? What do you got?
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh,
the
we were
great-
just talking about the thing.
One of the greatest horrors of all time. Almost Famous. Cameron Crowe just getting the best soundtrack and the best performance for Penny Lane.
You're 2 for 2.
Jaws is my favorite film ever made.
Jaws,
The
phenomenal.
direction.
3 for 3.
Jurassic Park, I think the use of practical effects that Spielberg did back then is still looks like it's done today. And Fargo. I mean, Coen Brothers just show how it's done.
I'll go to the movies with you.
Yeah, that's good. Tell me yours.
Yeah. I'm gonna do True Romance.
Oh God, how do you start on that?
I'm gonna
Bam.
do Cinema Paradiso.
That's an amazing masterpiece.
I'm gonna do.
You see, he's gone too much or too soon. True Romance
Terminator
straight
2.
away.
Terminator 2.
Oh God, what a
Terminator 2?
sequel. That's how to do a sequel.
That's the greatest sequel that's ever made.
It's
a standalone film.
Maverick is up there.
Okay. You know what? I agree, and I'm gonna say something that might be a hot take. Maverick, I like it better than Top Gun.
Me too. Maybe it's because
And
it's
here's
so
the thing.
fresh,
And
but
here's
it was
the thing.
amazing.
I understand that Maverick can't stand on its own without Top Gun because there's so much emotion connected to it. But Maverick is the perfect summer blockbuster.
Yep, Tom Cruise has saved cinema. He got people to
He's
go
the
back.
last
He's the
movie
man.
star.
He's the man.
He's the
We're
last
shaking hands
movie
about this.
star.
You know what? Maybe the only movie star in my
Right now, he's the one doing it, and Mission Impossible, and just going that extra mile.
fucking heck.
If you look through mine and his text conversation, it's mostly just Tom Cruise information.
It's unbelievable. You got 2 more choices, I think.
Fuck.
I mean, Terminator 2. That's how to do a sequel.
My
Unbelievable.
problem is it always depends on like what kind of mood I'm in.
That's
you
fair.
know? You know, I'm just gonna stick with those 3.
Okay, now here it comes the big guns.
Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Masterpiece.
Big Lebowski.
Get yourself a White Russian, sit there in a fucking coat, and just enjoy it.
The Matrix.
It's all right.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Right, I still don't know how that was made in the 80s.
I know.
don't get my head around how they did the animation and the
It's
real life. I don't know.
fucking insane.
Sorcery.
And then number 5, controversial choice, Speed Racer.
That was the first disc I bought that was 3D, where I was like visionary, like, oh my god, like this is a demo disc for AV equipment.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Closest I'll ever feel to doing drugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's just talk films. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? We don't
please,
need to
yeah.
talk
Oh,
about music.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Amazing. What's one of the films you hate? I know we'll end on a negative one, but what's a film that you just do not love?
Spring Breakers.
Spring Breakers and The Lighthouse.
I've never seen The Lighthouse. It just looks pretentious.
It is. It's so pretentious that at points I thought I was watching an SNL skit.
Yep.
It was like 2 actors, literally a scene where they're farting,
Yep.
and they're like out acting farting each other. And I was
I
like,
love
this
this.
is trash. Recent on this tour, we watched Maverick, Men, and
Men's supposed to be a fucked up ending. I've not seen it yet. People are
Yeah,
like, it's
it's-
fucking weird.
yeah, it is. It's very weird.
And I love Annihilation. It's an absolute masterpiece.
Yep.
So I don't know if I'm going to tarnish it by watching something that's weird.
There's something else that we saw.
I don't know.
It's just been too long.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I don't know.
Let's do our final question, right? What we get to do on this podcast is you get to choose the outro piece of music. It can be any song by any band that you love. There's 2 of you here today, so we might have to have a fight. We might have to kick off and get it down to one choice. But if each of you on the spot was chosen to choose the outro piece of music for today's interview, what song do you choose?
Highway to the Danger Zone.
Oh my god, that's incredible. The most 80s sounding synths. You got that beat to start with. That's a hell. What? How do you top that?
The theme song to Benny Hill.
Shall I try and splice the 2 together?
Yeah. Do that.
Boom. Oh my god, I don't know how we're going to do this, but That's how we go out on this episode. I love it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
So much.
Also, I need to say that one time I had a side project called Me and Mark.
My God. I've only done it because this is a spoof on Mac and Me, the 80s film.
Oh, I know Mac and Me.
Yeah, which is the film that E.T. tried to be.
Yep.
And this is it. So it's Mark and Me instead of Mac and Me. That's the Me and Mark. This is insane. Don't sue me, please.
No, you should check out Me and Mark. They're great.
Yeah?
Oh,
Me and
fuck,
Mark.
Mac and
This
Me.
is
This
fucking-
is, I don't even know.
You've agreed to come on a podcast where it's
I
all based
fucking love
on
it.
Mac and Me.
You know what?
Buy yourself some
Happy to be
McDonald's,
here.
drink Coke, eat Skittles, and watch that wheelchair go over into the water and Mac just pop his head up. A masterpiece.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you, guys.
That's my number 4.
Thank you. So there's my interview with me, Chris and George from Stick to Your Guns. And I guarantee you'll now have the Benny Hill theme tune in your head for the rest of the day. So thanks guys for that. Really appreciate it. But genuinely, how much fun was that interview? It completely went off topic. We ended up talking about films. And I think I could honestly have those guys on this podcast and do a movie special for about 3 or 4 hours. They were so much fun, and even after the interview, I still had the guys coming up to me a bit later on in the day going, oh, can I change my choice of film? And I think I've got a 4th choice now. They're just amazing people and an amazing band. And if you've never checked them out, please do. Not only are they one of the best live bands I saw at 2000trees, they're just one of the best bands out there. So, I think that brings us to the end of the first in a 4-part special for 2000trees Festival. Today we've had the amazing Can't Swim, Phoxjaw, and we've just listened to Stick to Your Guns. 3 bands that absolutely blew me away, and please go and check them all out. You will not regret it. The next part of these specials are going to have 3 brand new bands for you to check out, and the interviews are honestly amazing. So that will be with you very, very soon, and stay tuned on all my social media channels to find out when that drops. The best way to find out about the Mark and Me podcast is to go on the official website. It's markandme.com. On there, there's links to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you've enjoyed today's interviews with these 3 amazing bands, why not just share it on your own Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram? It's really simple and costs you absolutely nothing, and is literally the click of a few buttons or just a few taps of the thumb on your phone. But it makes a massive difference to Mark and Me. All the links are on markandme.com. Please, if you've enjoyed today's episode, go onto your Twitter and just retweet the episode. Go onto Facebook and share it, or if you're on Instagram, just share it on your stories. It's a huge way of promoting Mark and Me, and if this is the first time you've listened to Mark and Me, welcome aboard. If you really want to support the podcast as well, I do have a Patreon page, and this Patreon page allows me to do things like the 2000trees Festival. It allows me to travel the country and record episodes for you guys at home. Interview all these amazing people, and I make no money from it. It's purely for the love of the podcast, and what I do is I invest every penny that comes on Patreon right back into the podcast that allows me to go out there and basically get more and more episodes for you guys. I want to say a massive thanks for all the amazing bands that have been on today, and as I've said, this is only the first part in 4 specials celebrating the absolutely amazing 2000trees. And as you're listening to this right now, the tickets have gone on sale for 2023, and I promise you will have the best time of your life at this festival. And next year I think it's going to be even bigger and better, and I can't wait to go back. But in the meantime, I'll be back with the second part of this 4-part special real soon. So until then, look after yourself, take care, and I'll speak to you all very soon.